Universal officially wants to come back to the European market. Gosh, you have no clue how long I've been wanting to say those words. Yes, that's absolutely right. Last week a lot was disclosed about Universal Great Britain, and the rumors started to get traction when ThemeParkStop put out a video with plenty of evidence about this secret Universal project. And just some hours after, the company came out saying that they do in fact have a plan for the continent. So today, let's go behind the latest information on two possible Universal projects, not just the UK, but also some news over at PortAventura and the master plan Comcast may have for Europe right now.
Oh boy!
Before we begin, if you enjoy my content and this video, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing as I upload weekly videos on theme parks from the past to the future. If you want to go the extra mile, consider becoming a channel member. You can find me over at Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and in our Discord community. Links are in the description. That said, let's dig in. As I said, Alicia Stella made an amazing video with plenty of information regarding Universal Great Britain, and I do recommend you check that out as well. But let's go through some of the most important information, starting with two domains being registered by the American company. Both Universal Studios Great Britain and UniversalGreatBritain.com were registered by them in late September. We can confirm this is in fact Universal and not a fan because of the use of Mark Monitor for the registration and the names of the servers NBCUni.com, and of course not to mention the domain administrator being NBC Universal. So it is pretty much confirmed it was them. Moreover, after Comcast's third quarter earnings call, a CEC report reveals that $271 million were spent in what, you might ask, associated with the acquisition of land for potential theme park expansion opportunities. Now, this could be anywhere or multiple locations, but in the UK, everything must be made public, and British records show that Comcast purchased a development company that goes by the name Cloudwing UK Limited in August of this year. Why would Comcast want a British construction and development company? Because this same company holds some very interesting land assets, including a 95-hectare parcel of land in Bedford, just over an hour and a half from the center of the City of London. This plot of land, called the Kempston Hardwick New Settlement, now shows as owned by Comcast, and it had some proposed plans for commercial use over time that did not come to fruition, showing that the current agricultural uses may be changed in the not-so-distant future. After ThemeParkStop's video about the rumors, me and Ali, the well-known source for everything Disneyland Paris, teamed up and released a first look at an old concept for this exact theme park resort. This concept art comes from an internal presentation on possible international new ventures from Universal and was never meant to be seen by outsiders. This is why it has so many copied attractions and lands from other parks and projects, such as Starfall Racers, the Epic Universe Dueling Coaster, or the Jurassic World Land and Aviary from Beijing, just like the very similar hotel. So, what can we take from this concept art? Well, we can take some ideas from it, like a smaller scale city walk in the entrance, a good rail connection that gets you right in the action, a big theme park with a similar layout to that of Beijing and maybe Islands of Adventure, and the likeliness of having one or more hotels. With the rumors and a concept art for the park now out in the wild, Comcast and Universal saw that some explanations had to be given, and so a third party made a simple website explaining what is happening in the UK and what the deal is with Universal Great Britain. The universalukproject.co.uk website welcomes visitors with the line, "We take guests to extraordinary places they could only imagine," and starts by talking about the Universal brand and their current theme parks around the world. Nothing new was truly revealed in this website, other than it'll be many months before we are ready to make a decision on whether to proceed, and that while we do own this parcel of land, we are still at the very early stages of exploring its feasibility for a potential resort and park experience. A message for locals was also developed because of the reports. I suggest you go take a look at the website and letter after the video if you want to learn more about all this. Links are in the description below. With a possible theme park in Bedford, England, one major thing cannot be missed, and that is, how would people get there? People flying to the park would find that the Luton Airport is just about 40 minutes by car, and from that location with current public transportation getting you there in about an hour. But this does not truly matter because transportation would most definitely be improved as a world-class resort pops up in Bedford. So, major news regarding Universal in Europe. But you might be asking by now, what about PortAventura? I've not forgotten about the Spanish theme park resort, and neither has Universal by the looks of it. I made a video some months ago about a European theme park war, and how several people were leaving Disneyland Paris for PortAventura, one of which is the operations director of the French resort that has now been officialized by PortAventura. But that's not all. Parque, a Spanish community, released this photo taken on the 17th of November, showing the president of Universal New Ventures, Paige Thompson, walking in the Spanish resort with PortAventura director David Garcia. Why would he be visiting the park? Some might justify this with the fact that PortAventura still uses some Universal IPs, like Woody Woodpecker, and seeing the relationship between the two companies still exists, this was but a visit. I don't think this is the situation here, because Paige Thompson was not the only one to stay in Spain. With him came a huge 10-room delegation of Americans with other important people, such as Doug Akers, a Universal New Ventures Vice President of Operations, and 3 others, including a Michael, that according to sources is Michael J. Cavanaugh, the president of Comcast and temporary president of NBC Universal. With such a big and important Comcast and Universal delegation staying in PortAventura, something must be happening in Spain. And this is where I put on my tinfoil hat and start explaining my conspiracy theory. Seeing that in one side we have some confirmation that a Universal theme park is in the early stages of development for the United Kingdom, and in the other side the rumblings continue to appear from the Spanish resort, I think there are some possible outcomes. First outcome, and what I consider unlikely, is that Universal UK is just a plot to get PortAventura for cheaper and or hide their plans for the Spanish resort. Why would I even consider this? Well, it would not be the first time Universal announces a new resort and at the same time works on a new and important project. Most recently we saw this happening with Universal Korea and Epic Universe. Again, I do not think this is a situation here because of how far the news have come and how direct Universal and Comcast have been in the situation. One other possibility is that PortAventura wanted to be bought by Universal but couldn't reach an agreement, and so the UK project was given the green light. Just like the previous one, I don't think this is happening because of the latest reports from the Spanish park. So this leaves us one last possibility, which according to both sides, I consider the most likely, and that is 2 Universal branded theme parks appearing in Europe, one in the UK and one in Spain. In the US there are 2 Universal resorts, Hollywood and Orlando, and I think this could also happen in Europe with PortAventura and Universal Great Britain. They would serve 2 different markets, as the UK by itself could support a world-class theme park and resort, with the current tourism and population, as competition isn't really on the same level as Disney or Universal. The British park would serve Northern Europe, but not all Europeans could visit as a passport is needed, which complicates travel to the UK. Other European countries and markets would have PortAventura, now managed and owned by Universal, like southern France, Italy, and Spain, and several others, as many Europeans already visit Spain for the summer and warmer months. With a 2 theme park resort master plan, Universal could be able to accommodate millions of visitors in 2 different markets and literally trap Disneyland Paris in the middle of their resorts. This is for me the perfect plan to enter Europe in a huge way, which is how Comcast has been treating Universal theme park expansions over the last years. We've seen the biggest investment in the sector by Universal in the last decade, from a brand new huge resort in Beijing to the biggest Universal Orlando expansion since ever with Epic Universe. While Disney says they're turbocharging their theme parks, Universal is actually doing it. Now I can take off the tinfoil hat and leave you all with this. Universal is finally interested in coming back to Europe. This could happen with PortAventura, the Great Britain theme park, or both. The fact is, they want to come back, and that's something we as theme park fans can all appreciate together. I'll be following both situations very closely as I have for the past year, so if you don't want to miss anything, make sure to subscribe and follow me. I want to thank Alicia Stella for the amazing investigation on the Great Britain Resort, and Tony and Angel from Parque for all the info. I'll have links to them below, so make sure to check them. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.